God in this season where you're down to your last little bit, one of the ways that God sustains us is that God sends people to bless what you have, to bless your little bit. God sends people. God has ordained people to be a blessing to you in that season. And it started with Elisha. And she didn't recognize that at first. She does at some point, but she doesn't recognize that God sent him, ordained him to bless her with the word so she would not die in that season. And what I want to encourage someone with tonight is that God is going to use that part of one of the ways that God maintains us, right? And sustains us in difficult seasons is he ordains people to come alongside us and be a blessing to us in that season. So the reason every time you go in your refrigerator and you have food is because God keeps sending people to give you grocery money. Or, or the reason you always have gas in your gas tank is because God keeps ordaining people to get in your car who give you $20 for gas. Or the reason, you always have your bill money is because God ordains people to come alongside you who decide to pay a bill for you, or whatever the case may be. But it's about recognizing how God sends people in those seasons, right? Where it's a famine, where there's lack, where there's struggle, and God sends people. He ordains people to be a blessing to us in that season. I just want to encourage someone tonight. God is going to send people. There are people that God has ordained to bless you in this season. There are people that God has ordained. They don't even know they've been ordained. They don't even know that they've been called, some of them. All they know is the reason they opened the door for you, even though the store was closed, is because they've been ordained to bless you in this season. They don't even understand why the bus driver doesn't even understand why he told you, don't worry about putting 50 cents in. Get on the bus, ride for free, because he's been ordained to bless you in this season. So you get to keep your bus fare. Y'all get that? That God ordains people. God ordains people to bless us in those seasons where we need to be maintained and sustained. That God literally wakes people up. Or puts it on somebody's mind when they see you come in the store to tell them to give you 20% discount. I hope y'all get this. And I just want to encourage someone tonight. You may be down to your last little bit, your last bit of flour, your last bit of oil. You may be feeling devastated like this woman in Zarephath. But I want to just encourage you. God has ordained people to bless you in this difficult season. God has ordained people who will write checks that ain't going to make sense. God has ordained people who are going to do things for you and you're not going to understand why they're doing it. And the truth is they may not understand why they're going to do it, but they've been ordained of God to bless you in this season. And so part of why it's important we see the relationship between the prophet and the widow, she doesn't recognize that God ordained him to come and bless her in this season. And I want to encourage someone tonight. And part of how her flour and her oil doesn't run out is that God sends people to keep pouring into her oil and pouring into her flour. And some of y'all down to your last little bit of oil and flour. And I don't know what oil and flour represents for you. For somebody, it might be money. For somebody, it might be strength. And for somebody else, it might be health, right? You're down to your last little bit. But the word tonight is God has ordained people. There are people that God has ordained to bless you in this season. And one of the things I encourage the church tonight to pray about is to be prayerful. God, connect me to everyone who you have ordained to bless me in this season. And we got to get past being proud believers. We got to get past being so proud that we don't want to accept when people want to bless us. We got to get past being proud. Because the very person that you keep saying, oh no, I don't need it. Oh no, I don't need it, is actually the person God has sent to you to bless you. But we so proud. We so proud and we so isolated. We so, full of ourselves sometimes that we don't even recognize that the person who keeps calling you to buy you groceries, they've been ordained of God to do so. So quit telling them, no, I don't need no groceries, and you over there starving to death. And you hungry and your kids want some snacks. Let them buy your groceries. Let them buy your groceries. Listen, somebody called me the other day and was like, Reverend Juma, I want to do X, Y, and Z for you. Okay. I'm going to let you bless me. I'm going to let you bless me. I'm going to get way out of my ego, way out of my way, and I'm going to let you bless me. When we had that car accident a few weeks ago, my friend, she don't even live in the state, y'all. She called me and she's like, I don't live in the state, but what do you need? She said, can I order you and your family dinner so that way you can rest and you don't have to cook? And you know what I told her? Yes. And she said, okay, I'm going to send Postmates to your house or Uber Eats. She don't live in the state, but she saw the post and we had a bad car accident. Now I could have been proud and be like, no, girl, we good. No, girl, we good. I'll figure it out. Now here I am at the house. My neck hurt. My back hurt. The baby just got out the hospital. Yeah, I'm going to let her bless me because God ordained her to bless me with a full meal for our whole family. And she's in another state. And I'm just trying to encourage someone tonight. God has ordained people to bless you. God has ordained people to pour into what you have left. God has ordained people to come alongside you in your time of need and your time of lack, even. Not necessarily lack, but not having enough, right? Not having all that you need in that moment. God has ordained people who recognize that there is a need, or they just want to be good to you. I had shared with my church, I was having a car problem several weeks ago, and I pulled up to a Jiffy Lube that was closed. And the guy was like, well, come on in, man, we'll help you. And then made his employees get back to work. Did I tell y'all they were closed? They were closed. And he made his employees, his staff, get back to work to service my car because I was nowhere near home. I was 3.5, 4 hours from home. But because I was having car problems, he told his staff, open up. Do you know that they were ordained to bless me that day? God put that wasn't no happenstance. God ordained that man to open up the Jiffy Lube and to help me, and then made his staff get back to work. I'm just trying to encourage y'all to know tonight. I want to encourage someone tonight. God has ordained people in this season to bless you. Come out of all ego. Come out of your pride. Come out of your isolation. Come out of this self-sufficiency. Oh, no, I got it. I got enough for one more sandwich. Come out of all of that. Come out of all of it. And then begin to ask God, direct me to everyone that you've ordained to bless me. Put me in touch with every person. Don't let me be full of myself. Don't let me be full of ego. Don't let me be full of pride. Don't let me be stuck in my self-pity and isolation. And help me pay attention and aware of everyone that you have ordained to bless me.